Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob and this is Vintage by Jacob. If you're new to the channel or you don't know who I am, well, obviously my name is Jacob and I'm a full-time reseller of vintage and basically any type of clothing I can get my hands on and resell online. I primarily sell on the Poshmark app, and that is where I make my full-time income. Like, seriously, all my checks come from the Poshmark app, and it is kind of crazy, but resell full-time on the Poshmark app. I also just booted up my Instagram page. You can check it out here. I'll leave like a picture or something. My handle is at vintage by Jacob _. I am trying to teeter over that 1,000 follower mark, so help me out with that. That would be super rad. I'm having a ton of fun curating content for that, so go check me out on Instagram. But yeah, if you're new to this channel, you need a little rundown of what I do here. Like I said, I am a full-time reseller and business owner, so basically I use this channel to kind of just document my day-to-day practices as a business owner, and I'm having a ton of fun making content for you guys that is not only entertaining but educational, especially if you are into business or just clothing in general. And I have a ton of just like really fun videos talking about Poshmark, talking about my business, items I'm getting in, items I'm shipping out. I also have some other really fun ones, like I go through some of my personal items in my closet. I did a $10 thrifted fall outfit challenge, and I'm gonna do one for the winter as well. So just a plethora of really cool videos and plenty more to come. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if that is something that intrigues you, feel free to hit the subscribe button. That can really help me out, and it would be fantastic. You get notified every single time I upload a video. Also, if you'd like to support this channel and help me grow my business and my YouTube channel, hit the like button. You've heard the spiel before. The like button can really help the YouTube algorithm get more traffic to your video, yada yada yada. You've heard it before. Hit the blue like button. That'd be fantastic. So if you have any feedback, criticism, or you just want to chat, hit me up in the comment section down below. I would love to talk to you guys down there. All right, so I'm sure you guys watched the last video. Hopefully you did. If you're new to the channel, first of all, I appreciate you guys being here. But in the last video, I detailed all these vintage t-shirts that I'm trying to do a wholesale deal on. I will keep you guys updated as that goes. But that was a really fun video. So if you're interested on how I'm navigating a wholesale deal with 105 vintage t-shirts, go check out my previous video. It was super fun, and I think there's a lot of good information in there, and it's also entertaining. But to be honest, it's been kind of a low-key day here at the shop. The shop is my basement. As you can see, here's a furnace right here, the rafters, everything. This is where I work. This is where I make my full-time income, out of my basement, and I am slowly but slowly growing out of it, which is super rad, and I hope to have like a warehouse one day, yada yada yada. Subscribe and hit the like button if you'd like to follow my journey as a business owner and watch me grow out of my basement. But yeah, I'm in my basement right now, and it's been a pretty low-key day. I just had to ship some orders. Nothing really that exciting happening, so I figured today would be a good time to film a video kind of just documenting my story about how I became a full-time reseller, what I like about it, and kind of just my overall perspective on it. So I think I'm going to throw the camera up on a tripod, and I'm just going to give you guys a little story time if that's cool with you. Alright, so if you guys watched my last video, you noticed I was sporting a vintage Minnesota Vikings t-shirt, but today I am actually sporting a vintage Minnesota Timberwolves sweatshirt and hat, primarily because, well, today is the NBA draft day and the Minnesota Timberwolves have the #1 pick, which is super exciting. I have no idea what they're going to do with it, who they're going to pick, if they're going to trade it, yada yada yada. I'm super geeked out about it, and I'm so excited to tune into that. And yeah, the Vikings won too, so that was super good. They beat the Bears, a division rival, so I'm super stoked about that. It's been a great week for Minnesota sports. If you're new to this channel, I'm from Minnesota, so that's why the Vikings, Timberwolves, you get it. But yeah, let's get into a little bit of a story time type of video. I've never done one of these before, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, to be honest. And I kind of just want to give you guys a little bit of perspective on my journey becoming a full-time reseller and business owner, and kind of like just my love for vintage clothing and clothing in general, and just entrepreneurship as a whole. So I'm going to take it right back to the beginning. I've always kind of had an entrepreneurship style like in my blood. Like I feel like I've always been kind of like a purebred entrepreneur. I've never been scared of hard work, and I've never been scared to take a lot of risk, which are primary characteristics of an entrepreneur. And that dates back as far as I can remember. I remember in elementary school, I actually had this this method of making multicolored crayons. My grandma taught me. What I would actually do is I would melt like Crayola crayons over the stovetop and then put them in the bottom of a glass like mason jar, and it would harden, and you could like swirl together a whole bunch of different colors, and it would make like this coin-shaped crayon that was super cool because you could color with it and the colors would change up, and it was just really cool. But I remember I learned how to do that for my grandma, and I was actually in elementary school, and I would make like just handfuls of these coins, and I would just sell them to school kids for like a quarter and 50 cents, and like kids would give money from their parents. They'd bring a quarter to school. I'd exchange it for a crayon. It was super cool, and that, I suppose, is my early story as an entrepreneur. So it's kind of always been there. After the crayon business, so to speak, it wasn't really a business, but it was my first notion of me wanting to become an entrepreneur and a business owner one day. I actually got into fingerboarding, and this was early middle school, and I carried on through high school a little bit. But if you don't know what fingerboarding is, I will try to leave some pictures or something, but it's basically miniature replicas of skateboards. So like if you think of like a tech deck, what's sold at Walmart, that's a fingerboard, and there's this whole culture and group of kids that use like professional products, like handmade wooden fingerboard products and bearing wheels and stuff, and it was a super cool niche. But I actually got into the fingerboarding scene, and I learned how to develop fingerboards. I had a little wood shop at my mom's house, and I would hand make these fingerboards, and I would sell them all around the world. And it was actually, for my age, it was actually a very viable business. I could make 5 digits a year in income. Like I would make like $10,000-$15,000 a year, as a middle and high schooler. So I mean, that was super cool, and that was kind of my next step as an entrepreneur. It wasn't a real home run with money, but for the time, it was certainly impressive, I would say. And that kind of mentality is ultimately what led me to this, my full-time resale business. So how I transitioned from crayons to fingerboarding to clothes is pretty organic, to be honest. I've always had, I feel like I've always had a notion of understanding things that are undervalued. Like I back in the day, in late high school, I would buy things off Facebook and Craigslist and resell them for more money. Notably furniture. I would pick up free couches, take better pictures of them, and sell them for $50-$100 the next day or week or whatever. I did that for a while, and that's kind of what got me into the flipping business. So kind of like getting secondhand items, flipping that are undervalued and flipping them for more money. And I've always, I would say mid-high school, I really got into clothes and fashion. As I got more involved with like becoming a fan of the NBA and different music cultures and stuff, fashion was a big thing for me in high school, and I was all over like all the different trends and the designers. Like I was super into high fashion and stuff, and that was a really cool era of my life that I went through, and it ultimately led me here into the resale business, which is super rad, and I love what I do now. But from a very early time, I was always into vintage clothing, and that just came with the fashion side, because once I got into fashion, I always wanted to like level up, and like every day I wanted my outfit to be better and better and better and more unique, and I always wanted, like, I had such like a pride going to high school, and like I had like a super unique outfit on that would turn heads, and I think that was really the draw for it. It was how creative I was able to be with my fashion, and that ultimately led me to thrift stores and finding just really rad, unique pieces that you can't find anywhere else, which is honestly the premise of my business, selling just really rad, unique pieces. And that's the part of my business that I love the most, is selling the vintage and unique pieces. I mean, it doesn't drive all the money for my business. I certainly sell a ton of modern items, which is a big part of my business, but finding those like gems, so to speak, and those grail pieces in the thrift is like the adrenaline that I get, and what makes me continue wanting to do this business is that aspect of it. But I specifically remember it was my first year in college. I was living with some roommates in an apartment, and we would make regular trips to the thrift store, just because we kind of all had that mentality, like we always wanted to level up our closet. And there was just one item that really started off my whole entire resale business. I remember the exact moment to this day. I remember the item like it was yesterday, even though it was about 3 years ago now. I really wish I still had this item in my personal collection, but me and my friends went to the thrift store, and it just caught the corner of my eye. It was actually a vintage Seattle Supersonics jacket, an NBA jacket. The Supersonics, if you know, they are not a team anymore, but it was a vintage Seattle Supersonics jacket. And I remember actually picking up the jacket and being like, hey, I know for sure that this jacket is worth a lot more than what it was worth at the thrift. And I paid around $20 for it, which is actually a lot of money if you know what I get my items for nowadays. But I knew the jacket was at least worth like $100 or so. I decided to pick it up. I put it on Etsy actually the next day, and it only took less than 48 hours, and I sold the jacket for $100. And that's really what justified to me, like, hey, I can actually make a decent amount of money doing this. And I would slowly go to the thrift store, just purely collecting vintage items and reselling them for more money on Etsy. And well, now you know, slowly but surely, I just made the transition over to Poshmark to save money on fees, and I just started buying more and more items, and it just kind of spiraled into what I'm doing today, 3 years in now, making a full-time living, and I couldn't be happier with what I do now. And I'm just so happy to see all the hard work I've done and watch my business grow and grow year after year. And it's just super exciting, and now being able to bring you guys along with the journey as well is just super rad. So yeah, to be honest, that is the story. I mean, if you guys want more details on my entire transition from Etsy to Poshmark to like the all the deals I made, like the real grit and grime stuff, I can make a separate video on that. Just let me know in the comments. But that is kind of the origin story of my journey as a reseller on Poshmark. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the story time video. It was actually a ton of fun to make, and I kind of like this setting, just being able to talk to you guys through the camera like this and just be real honest and open with you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to learn something and you're entertained as well. But yeah, that is it for today. I will see you guys on Friday. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, and leave a comment down below. That would really help me out, and I would really appreciate you guys supporting my journey and doing that. And thank you guys just for taking your time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. But that's it. I guess I will see you guys on what? Yeah, Friday now. Okay. Go Timberwolves. Peace.